Eran Cohen from Jewish Voice for Labour joins me now from London. Eran, great to have you with us. Now, every day almost, another headline about Corbyn's support for extremists calling for Israel's destruction or merely attacking the Jewish state. What's your take?
Well, there's been a lot of accusations and allegations that the Labour Party under Corbyn has a problem with anti-Semitism. But the statistics actually suggest that under Corbyn, anti-Semitism was reduced in the Labour Party. So, for example, YouGov, the polling agency, found that in 2015, 22% of Labour voters agreed with the statement that Jews chase money more than other people. In 2017, that number for the same question dropped to 14%, so an 8-point drop, compared with the Conservative Party, which was a 31% of voters agreed with that in 2015, and that's down only 4 points to 27%.
Sure.
So if anything, I would argue that Corbyn reduced anti-Semitism in the Labour Party.
All right, so you're referring to some statistics here, but looking at the actions of Corbyn, what's your take with regards to those?
Do you want to clarify which actions specifically?
Well, just even the most recent report that you've just listened to, also being seen standing at the grave of the Palestinian terrorist from the Black Saturday incident. What's your take about those kind of reports that are coming out and pointing accusations, calling Jeremy Corbyn anti-Semitic and anti-Zionist?
I think you mean Black September.
Black September, sorry.
So, first of all, Corbyn wasn't there, as far as I know, to stand next to those graves. He was there to honor the memory of people who were killed by an Israeli airstrike in 1985 on the PLO headquarters. Now, he is not responsible for who is buried where, much less, as far as I know, that he can read Arabic and see the names of the people. Now, that attack came just 3 years after the massacre of Sabra and Shatila, which the Cohen Commission in Israel found Ariel Sharon personally responsible for, and we named streets after him. So if you want to talk about honoring terrorists, we can discuss that.
Oh, sorry, I actually missed that. I was listening to my producer in my ear, unfortunately. I just want to also take you back to a comment that was brought up on Perspectives earlier this week. I24 News investigative reporter Eran Levy was referring to the dwindling support for Corbyn among the Jewish community. Let's take a listen to what he reported here on Perspectives, and I'll get your take after that.
It's dwindling. Look, he had certain support from people who were willing to stay on in the Labour Party even though they saw problems from him. Now, really, it's all but a very small core of radical left-wingers who've stuck around him. Most of the community, certainly the organised Jewish community, have splintered away from him. It was only a few weeks ago that the three main Jewish papers all plastered on the front page the exact same headline, "United We Stand," accusing the Labour Party of being an existential threat to the Jewish community. That was a real wake-up call for a lot of people. The fact the Labour Party in Britain is having to release a statement saying we are not an existential threat to the Jewish community. And it's very sad, particularly for the many people who see themselves in Labour, don't want to be identified with the Conservatives, especially given everything else that is happening now with Brexit, feeling they really have no political home.
So, Eran, what's your take? Has this slew of accusations impacted Jewish support for Labour leader Jeremy Corbyn?
That's interesting. I don't actually know the statistics of where Jews generally vote, but I would say that it's important not to present the Jewish community in the UK or anywhere in the world as being monolithic. We're not all the same. There are many Jews in the Labour Party. Jews have a long history of supporting the Labour Party, and you say, Eran Levy says that it's the support is dwindling, but he doesn't really cite any sources other than major newspapers. Now, one of the most populated Jewish areas, which is Stamford Hill, which is largely Haredi, that is a firm Labour seat and always has been, as far as I know, and it hasn't changed any time recently. And they don't actually have representation in the in the organised Jewish establishment. The Board of Deputies does not allow them, or they refuse to join. I don't know exactly how it works, but it would be mistaken to argue that Jews as a community oppose or support Jeremy Corbyn.
All right, let's bring another voice into this conversation. I spoke with Professor Emeritus at Harvard University, Alan Dershowitz, about this issue. Let's take a listen to what he had to say.
He couldn't care less about the Palestinian people. The notion that he's pro-Palestinian is nonsense. He's anti-Semite, anti-Israel, anti-Zionist, anti-everything Jewish, the nation state of the Jewish people. He is a despicable human being who does not stand for the good people of Great Britain. And many people in Great Britain are going to vote for him, not because of his anti-Semitism, but despite his anti-Semitism. And if he were to be elected Prime Minister of England, it would pose an existential threat for the future of Great Britain, for the future of the American Great Britain alliance, and for the future of the Israeli Great Britain alliance. So It's a really serious problem, and everybody should be concerned about this bigot who tries to become the Prime Minister of a great country.
So, Eran, what do you say to those Jews who voiced a fear of a United Kingdom as led by Jeremy Corbyn?
I mean, I guess we'll have to wait and see, but the statistics speak for themselves. If he reduced anti-Semitism in the Labour Party, why would they think that there is an existential threat? Also, the whole idea of existential threat is Israeli rhetoric, not UK rhetoric. So let's not apply Israeli propaganda to the situation in the UK.
Is that not important, though? I suppose an existential threat to Israel, is that not important to the Jews of the UK?
I mean, I'm not going to argue with Alan Dershowitz's personal opinions. If you want to give me some kind of facts about why you think a Corbyn government would pose an existential threat, where actually his politics are no different, as far as I understand, to the politics of the Labour Party in the 1970s.
All right, Eran Cohen, unfortunately, we're out of time, but we appreciate your perspective. Adding to that conversation, of course, there are a multitude of accusations that Corbyn is anti-Semitic, so it's good to get another perspective here on the show as to why he is not. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.